And you're watching The Rock Office.
Hey everyone out there, you've reached The Rock Office. It's time to clock in and rock out. I'm your host, Bill Smith.
And I'm Kevin Davis.
All right, we're here. We got another terrific episode. A band that some of you may not know. I guess you would call them more of an independent band, but the Delta Saints. And these guys, classify them or describe their music as just music for men. This is just music that rocks. It's bluesy, it's dirty, it's gritty, it's rocking. It's just everything that I think rock and roll should be.
Yeah, good music. They really, they don't mess around. You know, they kind of really just get down and they tell stories in their songs that are very good stories for guys to rock out to, I guess would be the best way for me to say that without ruining any of their music. You got to check it out, though. It's good stuff. They have a real good sound, and for being a more of a regional band, at least at the moment, you would think by listening to these guys that they're going to go places, and that's why we're covering them, because they, I think they're going to go somewhere. And we caught up with them when they were in town for the Painesville Party in the Park a couple of months ago. We've been sitting on this one a little while because we wanted to find a right spot to put them in here, and we thought that this would be the perfect spot as far as episode-wise. Get them in, but great guys. I caught a real good vibe from them. Man, they were awesome. They gave us time before their set that night. They popped through. They stopped off here at our studio, and that's really cool. They didn't expect us to come out and see them, meet them anywhere or anything like that. Just really nice guys, man. And that set of horns they have on their tour bus. Something else, too.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
I think it just fits their image perfectly.
I think so, too. Yeah, it's really cool.
But, actually do want to stop before we go any further and give a plug to this episode sponsor, Gabe Cicconetti. Cicconetti Insurance.
That's right.
He's been a lifelong friend of Kevin and I, and he is a huge supporter of local music, especially
music
here
in general. Yeah.
On the east side of Cleveland. He is the chief organizer of the music for the Painesville Party in the Park. Mm-hmm. And, we've had the privilege of working with them last couple of years, and it is Ohio's largest music festival, free music festival, and it's 3 days of free music. And one of the bands, for instance, is Delta Saints, and these guys are no slouch. And this is just a taste of the music that they bring you every year. It's absolutely free. You can go and enjoy yourself for the afternoon. If you're budget-minded, perhaps might be a good way to put it.
Go down there for nothing, man. Check these bands out. It's awesome.
They're fantastic. And like I said, this year we weren't able to extensively cover the event like we had previously, but we wanted to bring you a little taste, and we thought, Delta Saints is a band that had not previously been there, and, we're just fans of these guys. We wanted to highlight them, and, Gabe is getting behind us with his insurance company. So for all your insurance needs, make sure you check out Cicconetti Insurance, and the information will be provided here to you shortly. But I think without any further ado, we're just going to get right into the episode, right into the interview. That's and here you go.
Delta Saints.
All right, here we are in studio, the Delta Saints.
Important.
Yes. So, guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves and what you do in the band, and if you want to give a shout-out to the MIA comrades of yours that couldn't fit in the shot, go right ahead.
All right. I'm Dylan Fitch. I play lead guitar, and I attempt to do my best at singing some background vocals now, which is new.
Yeah. I'm Ben Ringle, lead singer of the Delta Saints. Yeah, that's about all. Yeah, play Resonator. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. That's great.
I'm Nate Kramer. I'm also known as Willie Burns. Newest addition to the Delta Saints. Keyboards, organ, piano, synthesizers.
Yes.
Nice.
Most importantly.
And our other comrades, David Sapika on the bass and Benjamin Ozzie on the drums.
And Wayne Zimmerman on the tour managing, babysitting, merch
Yes.
selling.
Yeah.
All right. How'd you meet? How'd you form? Let's get the backstory.
So in 2007, David Spica, bass player, Ben Ozzie, our drummer, and myself transferred to Belmont University in Nashville.
Okay.
And we were all 2 or 3 years deep into a collegiate odyssey. And, transferring in at that point, generally people have established kind of their, routine and their
majors.
friends and majors and all that. So it's a little difficult to make friends. So we kind of banded together. It started out as just drinking buddies.
Okay.
Really, like we all had that common interest of music, but I mean, we just kind of very quickly grew tired of drinking by ourselves in our dorm rooms, on a Friday night. So,
As it tends
Yeah.
to be.
yeah, I mean, it's social, man. If it's not social, it's a problem.
Well, right. When you realize you're getting drunk by yourself, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do that for a few weeks, but so we got together at David's 1-bedroom apartment, and then it kind of became a jam session with like a group of people, like you do in college,
Mhm.
and then this kind of started weaving its way out of that, and then it's just kind of since then been a bit of a, like I said, kind of an odyssey again. Chuck here is the third guitarist,
Yeah.
final guitarist.
Final.
Um,
I'm out. It's done.
Yeah.
contractually speaking,
Yeah, well,
the band dissolves. And,
Yeah, well, I mean, and then Willie Burns here is, like you said, the newest addition, but that came after 2 harmonica players. And then, we kind of all wanted to transition from harmonica to organ and keys and synthesizers. And but yeah, so and then now we're here. And it's been about 6.5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just been kind of wild. Most of it's a blur,
Yeah.
for
Well,
one reason or another.
We're on the road a lot.
yeah.
Throughout
Well,
the year, we spend the majority of the year on the road. So, and some of those shows, after now I've been in the band about almost 4 years,
okay.
and doing almost 200 shows a year.
Wow.
It's hard to remember even just like through the years when certain things happen. We have to.
Yeah.
We almost identify it with members in the band.
Honestly, thinking back, I had no idea you've been in the band for 4 years.
Almost this fall.
I mean, it makes sense. No,
Yeah, this
you're not
fall will be
lying.
4
It's just
years.
like
I met my wife when Bob was in the band.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. It was like that. Like I remember my 21st birthday in this band because that happened at like this certain time, and
Okay.
like all these different points in the band history is like kind of identified by different members and
Exiting. And,
yeah.
so, we mentioned to people, hey, Delta Saints are going to be on the show. They're like, oh, what kind of music are they? And I've been telling people, I said, this is music made by men. Maybe you could describe your sound, maybe some of your influences, and,
Yeah.
how that all works out.
so.
It's rock and roll.
It is. It's rock and roll first, I think, and we started the whole thing with this band from the beginning to now, which I really like about it, and which I think we all really gravitate towards, is that it's constantly evolving.
Okay.
There's no. We're not settled on a sound. We're settled on kind of like a path, like a direction, but
Okay.
like not a sound, you know what I mean? And so, and I think part of that is because we're all a bit ADD anyways,
Right.
and,
Right.
and we,
And our interests change.
yeah,
all the
absolutely.
time.
As it should. I think as it should
Right.
to keep it interesting. So we started out much more of this like Delta bluesy
Yeah.
thing, which was great. It's what we were all like came together and formed. And it's just been evolving. For Death Letter Jubilee, the album we released about 1.5 years ago, it was still in this blues rock realm.
Oh,
It was getting
yeah.
more rock and roll, but it was still in this blues rock realm. And now we're about halfway done, 2/3 done with our new record,
Okay.
and it's evolving even more into this kind of like dark, psychedelic, like New Orleans kind of rock and roll. It's really weird. Like it just like
It's a good stew.
yeah,
Yeah.
weird is maybe the wrong word.
We all, for us, it's something that we haven't really heard. So we're hoping that other people will kind of gravitate towards that same thing.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
get into the new record in a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
but
Cool.
that's probably, an accurate description. I think, a lot of the blues aspect was due to the harmonica. But,
Yeah.
and then your live album really, I think the transition, from, I'm assuming you were Willie Burns were on the keys on that
Yeah.
one. Okay, so that's a nice segue, I guess, if you will,
Yeah.
from and you can even tell a little bit of the change. So
And that was kind of the point. Also,
Yeah.
that live record
Oh,
was
okay.
was not only introducing Willie just to the sound, but preparing, I think, people for kind of the new sound that we're
Okay.
doing. We're not, we're not abandoning any part of where we come from or what we started as, but it's just this constant evolution. Seeking our own entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, it would get boring. You almost like. You think about some of these bands that had one hit 20 years ago and they're still touring off that record.
Yeah.
You're just like, dude, you guys must be crying every night because you're so bored.
right,
And we're definitely trying to avoid that.
yeah. Well, I think you guys will. No problem.
I hope so. Yeah, we're all having a lot of fun. Like
It comes across in the music. Why make it if you hate it?
absolutely.
So
Yeah. I mean, why? There's no point in being away from home and being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
So much to not love it.
That's right.
The music was described as swagger rock
Oh,
by someone. I
that's
can't remember
perfect.
Where, but I really
It's an
like
industry term.
that.
Okay.
It was in LA.
The
something
LA
like-
industry term. You guys, we're gonna label you as swagger rock.
Nice. Well, now you
I
can,
hope that's a
Cool.
good thing.
Well, now you can use music made by men.
Music
Yeah.
made by men. Again, that's one of the nicest compliments I've ever gotten.
That's awesome. All right, here we are with the Delta Saints, and we're going to be right back.
You a pretty little liar and a damn good thing. You pull the words straight from my mouth, just like they were meant to be. Head up, you walk tall. Each step you take is another I crawl, but it's all right in you. Okay, just walk on this town just like you a hurricane. Come on, Lord, come on and just lie to me. Just like you, just right, just like we were meant to be. Now come on, oh come on and just lie to me. Take a pretty little ways, steal my heart, but then you got to leave. Ha! Late nights roll, anywhere you move, you just gotta hold tight and hands up, and you get right shaking your walk down the city like that. You're a smooth talking pistol, baby. Hammer back and cock right, bring a twist on the trick, take a deep breath, and you close your eyes, and I'll step into your life. Now come on, oh come on and just lie to me, yeah. Just like you, just right, just like we were meant to be. Now come on and just lie to me. Take a pretty little way, you steal my heart, but then you got to.
All right, we're back with the Delta Saints, and guys, the album that I received, the Death Letter Jubilee, like I loved it. We talked just a little bit about it, but like I said, like to me, there's so much like right now with that indie folk, indie pop on the music scene. But like when I heard this, it was like, oh, I miss rock and roll. It was like, like it's
That's
like,
awesome.
where have you been? And then tell me about that album, and I'm also really interested to hear about. I know you guys are in the studio right now finishing up your next project. Maybe segue into that and tell us a little bit about that album, or at least what you can at this moment.
Yeah. So Death Letter Jubilee, we recorded it in 2011. Yeah, 2011.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. So in 2010, the fall of 2010, we did our first European tour.
Nice.
And it was our longest tour at that point. It was 2 months. It's like 40 or 50 shows, something just ridiculous. Just for the amount of time that we were there, it was like essentially one day off every week and a half.
Okay.
came home, we just burned out. Some more than others, but I think everybody was just burned.
Yeah.
So got back, took like a month off. Then December hit, and it was just like, all right, we need to record a record. And we planned with our producer at that time for like February. So spent like a month and a half finishing, essentially writing the second half of the album. Recorded it in 16 days in February, and then spent the next like 8 months like piecing, the album together, like artwork, track lists, you do mixing and mastering and all that. And it was a bear.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, but we finally released it January of 2012, and it was literally like right up before that was one of the most depressing months of my life because you spend so much time promoting and building something that's not even released yet. So you're putting all the work in and getting zero return at that point. And then by that time, the album had been recorded for a year. So it's kind of this thing where we finally recorded it, and I felt like it was kind of everybody was on a low when we recorded it, and then it just kind of took off. And it was awesome. The support tours went great. We did a couple of European tours on it. It was awesome. But the spirit of that album was very much, I think, kind of what we wanted to hear. You're on the radio, this rock and roll, still with the really bluesy thing. And it was successful. I think it was what we wanted. We got out of it what we wanted. You know what I mean? Right. It put us on a different level than we were. Allowed us to tour differently, better. It really worked. And so that was. I mean, it's wild to think that was 2012. So it's it's been 2 years, 2.5 years now, right?
Yeah.
And finishing up the next album, and it's more rock and roll, I think.
Definitely.
You get the psychedelic elements, like Dylan was saying.
You mentioned that earlier, and two more recent records came to my mind, which is the Black Keys' newer album has a real strong. I mean, more than their previous stuff, and then the new Ray LaMontagne, the Supernova. That's really, for him, very much, and that's just interesting.
Both Dan Auerbach.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he produced.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah. You working with him? Is that
no?
Okay.
We're working with the other team. There's actually a bit of a feud in
the rivalry.
The Nashville, blues rock and roll guys.
Which camp are you in,
Jack White, and then you have the Dan Auerbach camp. And the problem is we love both the sides, but I think there's a little bit of a
riff.
Thing. So we're working with the Jack White camp right now.
Well, we shouldn't give the wrong impression. We're working with our bud Ed, who assists.
Right.
Okay.
So hopefully that won't put us in the riff in any sort of way, but because we're drawing influences from both of these guys and that scene that's happening right now. I think listeners are starting to have a little more attention. I feel like there's all these real popular guys who are making these long. Even the last Justin Timberlake album, he had these 8-minute songs and stuff, and so I'm starting to see a trend in people with a little more patience and able to listen to a whole jam kind of thing, and so we're seeing that obviously, like you said, with the Black Keys album.
The first track off of it's Turn Blue, right?
Yeah.
The album, but the first track is phenomenal. It's 7 minutes, and it's this psychedelic riff jam thing,
but it's not like an offensive psychedelic. It's not like an overtly
it's not
60s
right.
Yeah, it's I understand this. It's but us being so close to Cleveland, they're from Akron. We're they're kind of hometown heroes for us. But I think that's awesome. I think for right now in the music scene, there's there's just too many banjos, too many. And that was cool, when Mumford & Sons first, this is cool, this is refreshing.
Yeah.
But now it's you got those guys, the Lumineers, you got, all these other. So I think with music, especially rock, it's always going to revert back to the blues because that is the building blocks.
That's where it starts.
And when I was younger, there was, in the early mid 90s, there was a big blues revolution or revitalization or whatever. That's when guys like Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Johnny Lang, really were on the cutter end of that and pushing that envelope. But I think you guys, like with the Black Keys and stuff, like what you're doing is like a prime time for that.
We're hoping that we're going to catch that wave of people being interested in this kind of blues-based dark rock and roll. That's it's not dark in the sense of like depressing, but
Gothic
but it just
atmospheric.
it's heavy, I should say.
Well, Robert Johnson's one guy in an acoustic guitar, and that's some of the heaviest.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that goes hand in hand with the blues
Yeah.
because that's
well, it's what it's based off of. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? It's but with like the Black Keys, Gary Clark Jr. White,
that's another guy.
Everything that Jack White's doing, it's such a cool thing to see. But with these artists, you're seeing young people. And not only young people, you're seeing their albums chart and compete.
Yeah.
Which is
that's a blues album.
no, it's cool.
Well, like Gary Clark Jr. incorporating like a lot of hip hop and
R&B.
But also, I don't know if, for the guitar nerds, if you watch his right hand, that is the most traditional style blues picking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unreal. I mean, that's what I was most impressed by. He's doing the Hendrix thing, the psychedelic thing, and it's awesome. But just watching his right hand pick that guitar is phenomenal.
Well, he to me, I know he's from Austin. I hear a lot of Steve Ray Vaughan, who was my favorite guitarist,
definitely.
and I think there's a tradition there that he's just, maybe some in the mainstream forgotten, but it's obviously not gone away.
Yeah.
So
I know, another kind of influence on this new record that we're working on, at least for myself, and I know Nate over here, and we've kind of spread this throughout the band, is we've been listening to a lot of Jonathan Wilson as well. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's kind of this one-man band. It's like
genius.
He's like a guitar hero, piano hero,
wow,
psychedelic genius. He's
okay.
really, if you haven't heard him, I recommend looking him up.
check him
It
out.
sounds like a really fresh, interesting Beach Boys album.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like when I listen to it, but like not like the poppy Beach Boys. Like I don't know if that's when I
Pet
listen
Sounds,
to it,
yeah.
it's just like,
we grew up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check
And
it out.
there is in he kind of works with that Jim James group and everything.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
and that to me is some of the freshest music that I've heard. So that's been
Right.
at least personally been a big influence on how I've approached our new record. Just because there's so many things that he was doing that I think is fresh, and really interesting and innovative, and something that we can kind of pick up some of those ideas and still,
And to hear a band that I like and respect say, hey, we're being influenced by these guys that are really trying to do something new, and we're trying to do something new in our own. That's exciting to hear because that really means that the music's not stagnant. It's not, it's not, it might not be on MTV or nothing's on MTV anymore, but it's out there.
Unless someone in this band gets a 16-year-old pregnant, then they'll get on MTV, right?
Well,
God forbid.
That's the only way that could happen.
God forbid.
I don't think that's going to happen, but
well, if you're lucky enough, it will. So.
That's our big break.
That's your big break. All right. Here we are, the Delta Saints. We're going to be right back.
And I've got a long way to go in this room. Whoa, shall I grow? But my time is well worth your pain. 'Cause one day I'm gonna stand over your grave, and I'm gonna dance, and I'm gonna sing, and I'm gonna lift my voice in a dead jubilee. I'm gonna dance, and I'm gonna sing, and I'm gonna lift my voice in a dead jubilee. And some may call me callous and cold,
All right, we are back. Delta Saints, just having a great time. One question we'd like to ask all of our guests, and this is a kind of a more serious question, at least as far as I'm concerned. And I've already shared with you guys. Grew up working in record stores and just have such. I mean, you can see we have lots of records and physical music, and one of the things we just really love is like the heritage of the record store and like being able to go and buying a CD or buying an LP or whatever. And right now, we were just talking about trends the last segment in music, and that trend right now is the downloading. It's the digital, which we're not so much of a fan of. And we always like to ask our guests, especially the musicians, to kind of hear, what their take is. What's your preference? And how do you feel? I know, like, you guys being an independent band, the download is the digital aspect, I'm sure, is uber important. But on a personal level, what are your thoughts, and how do you feel about that?
For me personally, I mean, it's such an interesting thing because I think with every new generation and that new generation's technologies, the previous generation is going to suffer. In the sense that, like, my dad will not use iTunes. Right. We bought him 2 iPods for Christmas, like, over the past couple of years, and he just will not use it. He's like, no, I want a CD. Yeah. Like, I want to carry this 14-pound booklet with 200 CDs in it. That's just and that's totally fine. That's great. Mm-hmm. For us, it was digital. It was the convenience. I have a 16 gig iPhone in my pocket that I can have 40 of my favorite records on, and I can literally listen to a record, and when someone calls in, pause it with the press of a button, have the phone call, unpause it after the phone call's done, and not even you don't even skip a beat. Right. So I think the convenience factor is awesome. Right. I think personally, all the problems that the record industry is having and the artist subsequently has because of that is because the industry itself didn't take to digital like they should have from the beginning. Personally. Right. As a personal preference of listening, like, if I could listen to vinyl records all day, I'd do it. Right. Just because, like, there is something nostalgic, and it's it has a certain sound quality. It's by no means like a WAV file, you know what I mean? Right. But there is something very, obviously it's physical, but like something that you have to commit to it to getting active. Up. Yeah, you have to get up every 20 minutes and flip the record. Right. And then you've got to put the record back in the sleeve and make another record out. It's not just like this touch screen thing where you're like, no, not that. Right.
You're not listening to just one song on a record too. It's it forces you to at least listen to one side of a record, which, I think is the coolest thing of going off of that. I share the same opinion about digital and vinyl, but, because vinyl, it's making a comeback, I think, because people are realizing that this active experience is fun, like pulling it out and listening to the needle, like, scrape to the first track and everything. It's kind of like this, our generation obviously didn't grow up with that, and now it's making this kind of resurgence. Last year was the most vinyl record sales since the 80s or something like that. Yeah, I mean,
Jack White just broke the vinyl sales record for the first week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Perhaps this is where the hipsters will end up saving the world.
So we're into this whole new vinyl trend, and our album is out on vinyl. Our next album will be out on vinyl.
Awesome. Cool.
We're even talking with some people in Europe about doing a European press of our live album on vinyl, just because there is enough of a demand for it. Okay. And I think that's really cool. It tells us that people that are listening to our album are listening to the whole album, and there's not just one song that that people just want this one song. It's like people, if they like our band, I feel like they are liking the whole thing, album, which that can be tough when you want a single and you want to have stuff like that.
Well, I think that's the problem. I think with singles, the problem that I have is like I love a full record. I'm sure we all share that.
Yes,
But like, just from the artist standpoint, like when we are picking our track list, you're picking it for a reason. Mm-hmm. Like, it's telling a story. Like I like to personally look at like a record like a movie, where you have you have the setup and you have the conflict and the climax and the resolution.
Yes, yeah.
And so like ideally when you listen to a full record, top to bottom, you've spent 45 minutes or an hour experiencing this story.
I know you guys are releasing a new album. You're coming off the road for a little bit. Yep. But what can people look for you guys? What's on the horizon? Maybe the next 6 months or so. What can people expect or be on the lookout for?
We're tentatively looking at the spring to release a new record. And I imagine from now until whenever that release date is, it'll be very much focusing on packaging the record correctly and getting the right artwork and making it look as hopefully as good as it'll sound, kind of thing. But throughout that, I mean, and I don't know exactly what we'll do, but there will be moments where we share, whether it's the album or like a teaser of a song or whatever, so just keeping kind of building the excitement around the album.
Okay. So where can people go to find this information, tour dates, merchandise, if they want to get T-shirts or album, whatever? Where are the Facebook, Twitter, whatever? Where are you guys at online?
So we do it all.
Yeah, we cover the gamut. DeltaSaints.com, the DeltaSaints.com.
The Delta Saints.
It is kind of the hub, I think. You can get your merch orders fulfilled by a good friend here, Chuck.
In a timely manner. Timely as in I take my time to deliver.
To make sure it's all there. So, yeah, DeltaSaints.com has a link to everything, really.
Okay.
Store, all that. But we do Facebook, just look up the Delta Saints.
Okay.
Instagram, at the Delta Saints. Twitter, all of that. I can't say that it's necessarily educational, any of it, but it certainly is entertaining, I think.
Well, that's all. Who cares about being educated?
Yeah, well, I mean, we play music.
So, all right, guys, thank you for being on the show. This is awesome. This is one of my favorite interviews thus far.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's been great.
Great. Next time you come to Cleveland, we gotta hook up and
Definitely.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.
All right, we are back. That was our interview with Delta Saints. Terrific bunch of guys, talented musicians, great music. Like I said before, music for men. We want to thank Gabe Cicconetti and Cicconetti Insurance for sponsoring this episode and actually working so hard for so many years in this community to bring great musical talent like Delta Saints to our hometown, Painesville Party in the Park. This year, the 2015 event is shaping up to be another great time. So let's put the website here to. Yeah, always in July. So make sure you go to that website there, check that out. They'll be updating the rosters, I'm sure, very soon. Excuse me. Always in July. So if you're anywhere nearby, make it a part of your summer experience. Come check it out. You will not find a larger group of bands that are as good as they are for free. You could expect anywhere to easily pay over $100 for a weekend ticket for a show like this, and this is free, and you can expect to always see the caliber of bands such as the Delta Saints performing there. So it hats off to those folks that put that on, including Gabe, and also hats off to the musical acts that come through and play. Yeah. Because it's a heck of a show. So Gabe has always been a supporter of music and supporter of ours. We appreciate that, Gabe, and so make sure you check his insurance agency out. They've got needs for everything that you might need as far as insurance, all the way up through and including investment needs. I know that they do that as well. So make sure you check our stuff out too. Our website, first and foremost, at www.therockoffice.com. Make sure you go over there, check out all of our episodes that we have posted up there, the blog posts that we have, album reviews, concert reviews, top 10 lists, you name it. Good stuff written by this guy right here, and also another great writer that we have on staff, Stephen Pettit. He's a great writer as well, and I know that you're going to enjoy that stuff, so make sure you check that out. They can check us out on Facebook, right? Yeah, facebook.com/rockoffice. Update that multiple times a day, from anywhere to whatever I'm listening to. We do a song of the day. We do, updating everything from episodes to articles to even stuff that, isn't necessarily associated with us, but we think it's worthwhile you guys check out. Also on Twitter at _rock_office. Like us, follow us, share us, anything that you guys can do to help spread the word of what we're doing, we really, really appreciate it. We appreciate all the love, all the comments that you send, the good and the bad ones. We are now expanding our reach. We're also on Instagram. We are now on Vimeo, for those of you that might be tuning in and finding us there. So, we're now on iTunes podcast, where you can watch us on therockoffice.com. You can watch us on YouTube. All over. We're as many places that we could possibly be to get out what we're doing to you guys, and we appreciate it. And I think
That's about it.
That's
man.
about it for this time.
That's
so
it. Yeah, so stay tuned for some of our great episodes that we still have in store for you guys. I know you're going to love them. And
as always, remember, support your local independent record store by buying the physical copy of music instead of the digital download. We'll see you next time on The Rock Office. Take care and God bless.